if I had $1 for every story I heard about bad PR, I'd be rich. So yeah, keep telling me your stories.
Yeah, totally. It was one of those things when I first started that you just don't know what you don't know.
No.
And so you get told all these, and you're like, wow, that person was featured in Forbes or whatever.
How the fuck did this guy that has done nothing
Right.
is on the cover of this magazine?
Yeah.
That's usually the story I get.
Yeah, of course. But then you find out that it's really just like a screenshot of the magazine on
And
an
not really
online
them.
thing that was done like, 7 years ago in the archives of some blog post. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's fake. That's how.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they paid 5 Gs for the placement,
There's a lot of that, and it's really sad these days. That's the one thing is people. There used to be this one thing that everybody would see is like Yahoo News. Everybody'd be like, I'm on Yahoo News. And then you see the logo Yahoo and you see the story, but then you don't realize it says press release. Like it would be like an Access Wire, for instance.
Yep.
And here's a hack. Like you get Access Wire, you pay like $200, $300 to put your press release on a PR newswire type thing.
Yep.
And then Yahoo News picks it up automatically just to put on their site.
It gets distributed to like 400 places.
Right. It gets all 400 things. And then Yahoo's thing is there. And it's not really on Yahoo News's main site or anything like that. And people are like, I'm on Yahoo now. Right. And then you go to like a product page or a company or like a t-shirt line or something.
Featured in.
And it says featured in Yahoo News. And you're like, okay. And the customer's like, yeah, they were featured here. So I trust it. But realize, you click on and it's just like, they paid $200 for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then that's where people lose their ass on these things, is where they get the story sold to them, but it's really just one person who's doing that exact thing. Yeah. Like they just have their own PR Newswire account, and then they just go like, hey, for a small fee of $25,000, we'll get you placed in 50 guaranteed placements. It's like, anytime I hear the word guarantee and PR in the same sentence, I'm like, nope. Next. Nope. It's impossible to guarantee.
I mean, there are now, funny enough, there are ways to guarantee, and we have a back-end platform that we've created that, we can guarantee placements, but it's a little more costly. But yeah, I mean, real PR, like the good PR, is organic. And PR is obviously figuring out what the story is about whatever and pitching it to an editor or a newscaster, whoever it is, and having them organically do it. And you can't guarantee that, because it's like, you could tell me, hey, I want to sell this watch, right? And I go to the news editor at like LA Times or something, and I say, hey, do a story on this watch. And for whatever reason that day, that editor's like, you know what? I don't want to do a story on the watch. Right. And they say no. So how can you guarantee that you know exactly what that editor and all that is?
Exactly.
But
you can only guarantee the work that's being done.
Right.
You can't guarantee.
You can guarantee I'm pitching it. And that's why, like, when I interview with clients and they're like, hey, tell us, where would you get our thing placed in the next, 30 days? And I go, honestly, I don't know where the fuck it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll pitch it. This is where I want it to go. This is the story angle I want to do, but I can't guarantee that CNN or Fox or whoever is actually going to do a story.
Yeah.
Now, we do have a back-end platform. This is a little, plug here, where we do have about 2,000 different media outlets all across the world, from Australia to Germany to US, wherever, where we do have deals with editors to be able to, kind of move up the list of when they will publish a story. And this is an organic story, not a sponsor, not anything like that.
Interesting.
And people can go and they can pay like $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is. Different outlets have different prices. And so say we want to do a story on Travis, I can go to a magazine editor and say, hey, here's $5,000, move us up the list, it'll come out in, the next 30 days or something. So there is a way to kind of, these days, unfortunately, journalists aren't getting paid as much as they used to. And so money does speak. And there are different hacks on the back end that you can do to kind of move up the list and get them paying attention.
And the bottom line, though, from my experience anyway, maybe you can speak to this, organic will always outperform paid.
100%.
Like there's no substitute for it, because a really good journalist has people that read the outlet because they trust that person's journalistic integrity. And so whenever one of the most some of the most traffic that I ever got from when we were pushing our product a lot was when you got us actually in TechCrunch.
Yep.
And it was like, but it was a real article.
It was a real article. I mean, we didn't pay
right.
And TechCrunch is one that you can't pay for.
Right.
You know, you could buy an ad and you can do that. But
sure.
yeah, and that journalist did a story on you guys and, it, you know, real
and it
followers.
Brought real traffic.
Right.
Yeah, right. It's just so rare to get traffic from any sort of PR placement, especially if you're paying a shit ton of money for
and what people don't realize also with PR at least is, you know, PR is to get the word out about it, the exposure, the brand awareness. I mean, there's so many different other things PR does, but a lot of people come to me and are like, hey, we got one article. How come we haven't made millions of dollars?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, it doesn't fucking work like that.
Famous?
I mean, realistically, the best ROI that anybody will ever have is taking that TechCrunch article or anything and using that in their ads.
Boosting it, yeah.
And, you know, boosting it and doing things with it afterwards, whether it's the logo credibility or anything like that, or in an investor deck or something. And people are like, oh, I just get an article. I don't have to do anything with it after. Right. I'm like, no, you have to use it on social media. You have to use it on your paid media, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, there's a whole group of things that makes PR work.
Yeah.
And if people are just looking for one-off things, it's really just an ego boost at that point. It's not really, you know, something to make money.